This is your Immortal Afro, Josh, and you are watching Immortal Afro Gaming, where we will make gaming niche again. And I understand that this might be a little difficult for a few people to grasp, to gather. Give me just a second, getting everything set up over here. Making sure we have Resident Evil 4 2005 ready to go. Make sure I got my video comments on. We're going to read through some comments. We're going to address some of the criticisms of my criticism of Resident Evil 4 Remake. And we're going to have some fun with this. We are going to have some fun with this because, boy, I tell you, we've definitely failed in the fight to protect gaming, to make gaming niche again. Well, I wouldn't say about making gaming niche again. The original fight to save gaming, we'll say that. And so, let me move this over here. I think that's checking out all right. So far, so good. Let me pull up my comments. Okay. We're going to do this in two parts. Move that over here. Okay. Pull this tab right on up here. Almost ready out, folks. Give me just a moment. Take a seven, God. What's going on, man? You just in time for the drama. So I said, I figured, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go live. Gonna do it a little bit early. Luckily, had a day off and responded to the last video I posted on my YouTube channel, where it got kind of spicy, very spicy. Doing good, awesome. Hey, feel free to stick around. I don't know if you have a dog in the fight, but it's gonna it's gonna get a little spicy. I'll say that. What's up, Cross? Hey, you a doo-doo here, bro. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. And you're black. I'm like, all right. I appreciate it. How dare you not like what I like? Doo-doo head. Oh, man, you over here messed me up, man. I'm trying to look for, I got my boomer eyes. I can't quite see what I'm looking for. Let's see. It's a little bit of tea. It's involving gaming. If you check out my YouTube channel, I posted a video about Resident Evil 4 Remake, and boy, the dislikes on that bad boy are they're I'm almost proud of them. I'm like, man, I worked hard for that. Those are mine. Those are my dislikes. Because man, dude, I don't even know what I'm looking for anymore. Hold on, give me a second. Let me try to find this. All right. No, that's not what I'm looking for. There it is. Display. Slow. Display one. Yeah, that's it. We're gonna pop. Gonna widen that up. Okay, so this right here is my video. You can see right here, we're looking at it's sitting at a cool 3379. Oh, well, see, I don't know. YouTube is kind of weird with the dislikes. Like, I check it on the back end, and then I see it on here. Aaron B, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Cause right here, like I put a pinned comment so that people who probably don't have the dislike add-on on their browser, but maybe it's pointless. But as of the last time I checked, it was right around here. I don't know what YouTube doing. I think YouTube is trying to fudge the numbers so I can feel better, because it's all about the feelings in the new age YouTube. Let's see. There'll be a different account. Oh, Gold Libra, what's up, man? Gold Libra. I don't know. I thought I recognized Aaron B. But yeah, as you guys can see, this is all my hard work. I work so hard for it. Please leave a like or dislike, because apparently some of my points were a little too spicy to these guys liking, which is okay. I'm all about discourse. I'm all about having a conversation or whatever. And some of these guys, I won't say they're bad arguments. Well, some of them are, but some of them are legitimately genuine. And as you can see, like every comment I see, I leave a like or a heart on them so that they know I read it. But and some of these guys, they have a pretty solid case, or their logic for why they think the way they do checks out. I'll say that. Don't necessarily agree with it, but like I said in the video, I think it's because a lot of modern gamers are they don't have the advantage of gaming back in the day. Yo, Tava, what's going on, man? Need to start back streaming? Yes, you do, man. What you waiting for? I haven't seen you live in a minute. I've been on Twitch every day since I left. I bet people unclick dislike because you liked it. Man, come on. Come on, Cross. Don't be ruining my happiness. They better. I want my dislikes back. Give me back my dislikes. All right. So for those of y'all on the stream, I'm gonna go over the video. I'm gonna watch it all the way through. I'm not gonna say anything, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna find a comment and see if we can address where they may have gotten that point in my video, and we're going to espouse. That sound good? Yeah, let's do that. So let me know if y'all can hear it all right. I think it should come through all right.
Resident Evil 4.
I mean, it's alright, like...
It's good. It's a good game. I don't think I came across as hating on the game, but we'll see. We'll see. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a good game. However, it is an underwhelming remake. Hello everyone, I am your Immortal Afro Josh, and you are watching Immortal Afro Gaming, where we will make gaming niche again. Now, I will say that's probably something that bothers some of them, because one guy had mentioned that about making games niche. And I'm gonna be fair. I know I said I was gonna play it all the way through, but I'm gonna be fair. The more I see the kind of pushback from the community, as in the comments below, the more that makes sense to me. Gaming is too open, too many niche or niche. Someone told me that in a comment too. I was like, I don't know which one it is. He said it's niche, so we're just gonna mix it up. Why not both? Why do I say this? Well, when you consider how much was lost, cut, discarded, or whatever excuse you want to use, I find it hard to justify Remake 4's existence. After all, what's the point of a remake nowadays anyway? Just a quick refresh to cash in on the nostalgia of an older fanbase while drawing in a newer crowd? Or is the point of a remake to enhance elements of the original while adding value to the product as a fully realized concept stacked with features that would truly cement it as the definitive version of that game?
We don't do that here.
Okay.
Hey Aaron, that's my friend. He fucking with us. Oh man. Meditate. Goddamn, that man really is immortal. There are no lies here. There are no lies. I just have my camera turned off because I'm lazy half the time. Sometimes I wake up and stream and I don't have my hair picked out or whatever. I'm like, man, it look kind of terrible. Let me just go ahead and turn the stream on. But yeah, like see. When it comes, I think those are two clear distinctions between what a remake has been and what a remake can/should be. It's beautiful. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I've been working on this bad boy for many, many years. Going on, I want to say it's 16, about to be 17 years in December. My fro got a birthday. I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing a Resident Evil 4 smoke show. Like, if you check my YouTube channel, I uploaded this video right here that we're watching, and as you can see, it's a little what's the word? What's a good word? It's a little contentious at the moment. And when it comes to Resident Evil 4, I'm one of the OGs. I enjoyed the original version of Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube and the PS2. So this new one, the remake that came out, good game, very good game. I did enjoy it. However, one of my issues is that it's not quite up to snuff for how much they're charging for it. sparks debate, shall we say? Yeah, that's a good one. It is quite the debatable topic. All right, Cross. Oh, I guess you're right. It is a perfect masterpiece. No, there's nothing more they could possibly do to it to make it better. But let's continue. Yeah, we clearly don't deserve that timeline. And why should we, when so many people are easily impressed with graphics and hair strands? To those who refer to Remake 4 as a masterpiece, must have never spent more than an hour playing the original. And no, I'm not just referring to the over-the-top script, characters, or encounters, though I easily could. I'm talking about content. That sweet, sweet content. How the original has plenty of it, and how the remake has us paying more to wait for less than half of it.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Now, I feel like that point is really hard to sidestep. The hair really does look good in the remake. It does, but I feel like we trying to stop that. I think that's part of the problem, because nowadays when it comes to like how good a game is, so much of the focus is on the graphics. And like graphics are good, those things. That's something that what you saying, Cross? Such a bad take, bro. Alright. But yeah, dude, no, like it is good. It looks good. But and I'm gonna get to it because this is kind of like the smoking gun that I have it loaded in the back for when we get to it, because I know for a fact if things were different, none of this stuff would even be complain. No one would complain. But we'll get there. There was a time where a Capcom remake was something special, and unfortunately, modern gamers are either too young to know about it or too lazy to remember it. Capcom's Resident Evil 1 remake, a game that should be heralded as the golden standard of game remakes, adding value, not cutting it. But clearly this didn't hold up, as future remakes, while pretty, didn't do nearly as much in the content department. And that's true for all three remakes, Resident Evil 2, 3, especially 3, and now 4. They look prettier, and it varies between games how much content was removed or held back or so on and so forth. What I like from the remake regarding the graphics and is the overall weight and feel of combat. There's what I want from a modern AAA game. I agree. The remake plays exceptionally well, feels great. Just aside of like a nitpick for me is that the Mercenaries feels really easy. They kind of changed how the enemies react when you shoot them, because in the campaign they can take some hits before going down, but in Mercenaries, like you touch them, they go, oh, please kill me, and I'm like, that's a little easy. That's just me. Maybe that's something they could change. I don't really care because I got OG Mercenaries. But when it comes to like just something that I kind of noticed, they really made the enemies and Mercenaries almost easy to mow down. But as far as how Leon controls, how it feels and moves, I ain't got no complaints there. I have zero issue. If anything, those are increases across the board that I can get behind. Which, as far as I'm concerned, makes one thing very clear. Because 6th Gen is the undisputed peak of gaming, I believe it's high time that passionate gamers focus their interests and talents into supporting and building games that mirror that generation's quality and aesthetic. Many indie games fall into this category, thankfully, as modern technology has made it very achievable to those willing and able. Hell, I'd even go so far to say that it would be better to kickstart the birth of a new gaming industry, completely devoid of modern gaming's current degeneracy. Completely devoid of modern gaming's current degeneracy. My biggest complaint with the remake is that the villains aren't as memorable, because you don't get nearly as many as one-on-one interactions with them hacking your comms. Yep, Krauser's the only enemy I think was done better in the new versus the OG. I'm a little in the middle on that, because like I really liked old Krauser, but I do appreciate how they fleshed out their relationship, even though I didn't really too much care for how they made Leon and Krauser like a student and mentor thing, because in the original they were seen more as equals. Like you could make an argument that Krauser was stronger or whatever, given his attitude, but they kind of approached each other with a level of respect that was like, brothers. Not so much they're like, oh, you brought me up and you taught me everything I know, but that's a nitpick. But as far as like in the remake, that was good. How Krauser and Leon's relationship was fleshed out on the screen was very good. And one of the criticisms that the remake gets is that because they completely remove most, if not all, the comms between Leon and the other enemies, Salazar, Sadler, and all that good stuff, you didn't really get a chance to feel the pressure that they were putting on you, especially Salazar. He was really annoying, but all that stuff was just completely gone in the remake. There's a heavy claim. This is early. That's a heavy claim this early into the video. The fucking picture of Leon, he leaves for you is so fucking sus. I'm waiting on Leon. Ooh, woo. But yeah, so like and at that point, at least like for the video, the point that I wanted to expatiate on when it came to making another industry is under the assumption that gaming, the community, the industry as a whole has become permeated with the unfortunate ideology that games should never be released complete anymore. And that the new way to enjoy games is to pay a premium for an incomplete product up front and over time pay for the rest. Now, if the premium product that we get from the beginning is worth it and good, no problem with it. But when it comes to Resident Evil 4, we all know that's not the premium product. Because it's already bad enough that we had to wait for Mercenaries, which, why? And then when we get Mercenaries, it shows up lacking and behind. Only 4 characters and people like Luis is a plus. No. Like, I appreciate it. But for what I've lost, and this is like this is the kickback you give me. You take away Ada and Wesker, 2 of arguably the most fun characters or integral characters for Luis, a guy who's not even in the game that long, in the original. Cool guy, I love him, cool character. If you're going to have me choose between Ada, Wesker, and Luis who? Lou what? I agree, but that's why indie games have way better track records than AAA. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I want to push for the idea of a new industry built around, by, and for independent game developers and games. Because that's the way it felt back in 6th gen. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Because in 6th gen, even though it was like, yeah, the AAA titles and everything, because there was no internet, no downloadable content, no late game patches or whatever, games had to ship in a good enough, valuable enough position in order to justify being purchased so that they could exist. And this was across the board for all 3 premier consoles, the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PlayStation 2, the OG Xbox. But if indie becomes more famous with more money, won't they just become like the AAA? That is a good question. However, I don't think it would if a new industry was to come up from all this. It would make sense to build within it policy to help negate any potential sway that would go towards the AAA market. Because the main sway is money. It's always money. And when you get so much money, your attitude changes, or your morals change, your interests change, and with more money, more problems, investors come in. Now the investors get to decide what to do with your game, because now they got you by the balls because they got the money to give you to make the game. And if they want this game out at a certain time, you got to meet it. And I could understand if that was the case for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Because a lot of that stuff we know is going to be DLC, and if you played the original, you know that stuff is the stuff that was missing is going to be added in there in some capacity. But the investors could have been like, "Hey, we want this game out on this day, so whatever y'all got going on, whatever part y'all in development, y'all going to have to make whatever cuts necessary so that this game hits this release." And that's probably why Separate Ways is going to be a little bit more expanded upon and all that stuff. And I'm like, normally that would be cool, but the issue with that is you're charging me a premium for an incomplete game. And now you're going to charge me again for content that I know should have already been in the base game from the jump. So I managed to get Resident Evil 6, the special edition, for $60. I found it on CD Keys because I wasn't about to pay $70 for that shit. The special edition is hardly worth $60, and that's the stuff with the new costumes and all that shit. But if you get the base price of the special edition itself, it's like $70 something, and I don't even know if there's another higher price variation out there. But let's say the DLC comes out. Let's say Separate Ways DLC comes out. How much do you think that's going to cost? At least $20. So now if you got the special edition, you at 70. You spend another 20, 70, 80, 90. $90 for Resident Evil 4 Remake. The special edition stuff, another 10, and $20 for Separate Ways. Not even counting Assignment Ada. And we're being generous, assuming it's just going to be 20, because when it comes to pricing, So let's just assume 20. So 70, 80, $90 plus tax, $100. $100 game. So you got this $100 game in comparison to the original, where you can buy the original for $20 right now, and it has everything. Assignment Ada, Separate Ways, the Mercenaries Complete. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. If the Mercenaries comes out with Separate Ways, that might be another $10. So yeah, 30. So we had $110, and we still not even at what the original game had to offer from day one. And another point that I stress is how often Resident Evil 4 was ported. That game was so popular, it got ported to shit we can't even pronounce. It was some game console. I don't even know what that is. But Resident Evil 4 was on it. And so I'm like, man, this game is literally everywhere. All the money that Capcom acquired from Resident Evil 4 alone. Let's say that Capcom has a system in place in order to justify their remakes or sequels. Let's say all the money that Resident Evil ever acquires will only go to Resident Evil. So Resident Evil 4, buttload of money. And let's say they blew half of that on Resident Evil 5 and 6. And 6 flopped, and 5 was like, eh. And so they're like, man, okay, we low on money for the Resident Evil bank. We need to get some Resident Evil stuff up there. So they did Revelations and a few other games, got the money back up. But then there's all the re-releases for Resident Evil 4. And so I'm thinking, how much money did Resident Evil 4 by itself generate for Capcom? So with a game that prolific, with that much hype and status to its name, I don't know for sure, but I'm just going to assume that was a lot of damn money for one game, especially with how often it was ported, because it costs money to port games, but obviously that was worth the financial whatever, because they ported that bad boy everywhere. I'm definitely sub to your channel, driving back and moving some stuff into the new home. All right, man. Appreciate it. Make sure you drive safe now. Gotta get some old games in on Tekken. But I sure appreciate it. But yeah, so I'm just thinking, like, with how well received Resident Evil 4 was on all of these platforms, the original GameCube, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, all these other consoles or platforms we can't name. I'm like, that is a lot of money just for one game that you guys have ported everywhere. I say that game is the most hoard out game in history. So, with all that being said, I find it a little upsetting that this is the best they could do for us at launch. And with all the money that one game got made for you, you guys have the audacity to nickel and dime bits and pieces of this game out. And I'm thinking, like, am I the only one that has an issue with this? Everybody else like, oh, the game raised the roof. The game was amazing. And then they all talk about how much that sucks. And then they're just like, at the end of it, they're like, eh. And I'm just like, it's over. It's over because if this game had came out, I'd say 5, maybe 10 years ago in eighth gen, this there's not a doubt in my mind that people will be raising hell, especially at Capcom, because they had a notorious bad record for bad DLC practices, and this would have been received the same way. But because the frog has sat in the water for so long, and the frog being gamers, to them, they're used to it. And if you think about each generation of gaming slowly becoming more and more susceptible to this stuff, it makes sense. Because a lot of younger gamers who come in, they play stuff like Fortnite. And as far as they know, Fortnite has to be connected to the internet in order to work. They haven't owned the game since 7th gen. And if you showed up at late 7th gen, early 8th gen, you really don't know. And if you showed up current gen, what's that? So that's why, from my position, I focus so much on, if we're going to build a new gaming industry, it has to be completely divorced from the current one. All indie, the console is independent. Any competition within that console has to be independent. It has to all stay in that particular lane, and there has to be a policy going all the way down, explaining things like what to do, what not to do, what to do, what not to do. We prioritize value. We don't ship a game incomplete the way it was back in the day. It used to have a full glass of water, but now we have half of it, and now we're used to it and think that it's a full glass of water or something. Yeah, exactly. Every year we get less. We get charged more and get less. And when it comes to Resident Evil 4, Mercenaries. And they even tell you. They're not even hiding about it. They'll tell you up front, like, hey, Mercenaries is going to be a week late. And so at first, that was my only gripe. I was like, man, why can't y'all just do it? Why you gotta parse the game out like that? Because in my opinion, that doesn't really help the game maintain relevancy. Because everyone's gonna burn through the campaign in a heartbeat in less than a day, or 2 days, like if they got time like that. A week if you got a job. So once they're done with that, and Mercenaries comes out, and then you got people like me who sat there and waited patiently, didn't say nothing. You know, I only aired this grievance with friends, but I was like, yeah, it sucks, whatever. And then it comes out, and you're missing 2 characters. And these ain't just 2 characters like, oh, whatever, bro. Ada and Wesker. You saw the video. Well, here, I'll show you. I almost forgot. Why sit here and overdose on several tanks of hopium, fooling yourself into believing that there will be any modicum of improvement in an industry that generates so much money off of normies that it is actually possible to fail upwards? That's another good point, too. The gaming industry now, too much money, multi-billions of dollars. And how many AAA stinkers have we seen come over and over and over again? Fallout 76, Anthem, all these games that cost God knows how much to develop, maintain on servers, and they die within months, within years of release. And I'm like, where does all that money go? And that's how they get you. Like, they get you on these high promises, but when it's time to deliver, there's nothing there. Terrible DLC practices, anti-consumer products, always online implementation in single-player offline games, woke propaganda constantly being shoved in your face, the dumbing down of challenging gameplay so that the brain-dead normies can get a turn, the absolute cancer that is modern game journalism, or even the simple expectation of having a beloved classic properly remade with its entire soul intact. It is blatantly obvious that there is no longer an industry worth saving, let alone salvaging. That is one of the biggest points in the video. Where's Wesker? You got people, alright, you back? Cool. Where's Wesker? You got people modding Wesker into the game. That is work that people who don't get paid to make this game are doing. And that's another thing with this industry. Modders are doing damn near just as much work, if not more, than the people who make the damn game for your game to work. Like, when I saw that there was a Wesker mod, I rolled my eyes. Mods do half the job. Yes, and I'm like, they're not getting paid for this. And if I could, I would pay them for it. I mean, and I can, but the problem is I shouldn't have to. Mods are supposed to work a little bit like DLC. Extra content. Add-on. Icing on the cake. The game is a cake. It's supposed to be a delicious cake with a nice layer of frosting on it because, you know, they wanted to look very presentable. And the cake is supposed to make me full, and I'm supposed to be happy after I eat it. But now these folks are giving you ingredients. Or they're giving the modders ingredients. And so when I saw that there was a Wesker mod, I was just like, why are we even doing this, man? You guys know he should have been in the game. These guys know that he should have been in the game. At launch. And if not at launch, when Mercenaries was there. So you're still waiting for an incomplete game. But this is the norm these days. These guys think this is okay. This is just the way it is. And I'm like, if that's how you feel, cool. I'm not going to try to convince you. I'm not going to try to save you. I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince you that that isn't right. Because I come from a dinosaur era. When the game was made, it was done. And it was so done, the game had lasting power upwards of 20 years. The original. Came out in 2005. Game was so good they ported it to everything since. This game comes out, a month later we're waiting. And they think that somehow this is supposed to help the game last longer? Okay. Have you heard of a game called Rivals of Ether? And the base game is so small, but they have full compatibilities to mods, and modders have almost 10 times the content of the base game. I've heard of Rivals of Ether. I was thinking about getting it. It's like a Smash Brothers game, type game on Steam. They don't even need to do anything. They just left it to the players. And that sounds cool. If that was the model they intended, I guess that's okay. But I remember seeing that game cost like $30. I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. That's kind of steep if the base game is nothing. Is the money that I'm paying for that game going into the modders who are keeping that game alive? Because modders are the true definition of passion. Because these guys are complete technical wizards on computers for them to be able to do the things that they can do in games, and they get no respect for it. Especially from the industry. The industry takes advantage of their good faith. Fix our game, Bethesda. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like modders should be. I think it was a model. Yeah, so I think modders. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even mod this game. I'd be like, look, you got the base game that has all the stuff in it that we're trying to put into it, and we're making no money off of it. The Wesker files are in the game. That's why, like, some of the guys had like his special effects or whatever. Look pretty cool, but I'm like, why are we waiting for modders to do this stuff? This is supposed to already be in the game. Because the mod content is the only reason I bought the game. Yeah, and that is a good reason. But for me, it's just like, you know, if you guys are going to put that level of effort into the game, I might as well be paying you. You guys make a game. I'll support that game. Because, like, you're obviously talented enough to do it. And I'm all for it. And that's kind of, you know, again, I want to push it towards a new gaming industry. But let's finish up this video. It only makes sense to start anew. And sure, it'll be difficult. But if there's one thing that old school games have taught me, if at first you don't succeed, try again. REmake 4 is a good game by 2023 standards. Unfortunately, when compared to its 2005 counterpart, I am immediately reminded of just how much gaming has devolved, regressed, and waned in 18 years. And I just don't see it getting any better, no matter how pretty it looks. Now, that's not to say I'm black-pilled on my love for gaming. I find vast amounts of optimism in the mere idea of a fresh start for the genre, building a new foundation for my favorite pastime, much like gaming's Japanese forefathers did back when it never existed in the first place. If Miyamoto could build a successful game franchise back in the 80s with no blueprint whatsoever, then we should be able to build a successful game industry in 2023 with one. And with the amount of untapped potential in today's independent scene, it may arrive sooner than you think. Until that fateful day, I am your Mortal Afro Josh, And I'll see you when we make gaming niche again. So, that's the video. You doing all right, Black Rose? How goes it? Make gaming niche again. Exactly. The problems with the industry are just they're permeated through corporatism, consumerism. Buy our product. Hype, consume product, get excited for next product. Instead of enjoy product, value product has some staying power. All right, this is the smoking gun I was referring to earlier. How are you? I'm doing well. You can see my video here I posted. You can see how well it's doing. So this is a smoke show. I'm talking about the video. I'm gonna respond to some of these comments. But here's the smoking gun I was referring to. Gotta go. Take it easy. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by on your Alter account. Let me know if you want to get some games in too. I'll be off all day today. Gonna be playing Resident Evil 4, maybe some Tekken. But meanwhile, I'll go jack off the 2B. Yeah, bro. But so here's the smoking gun. Let's imagine for a minute that gaming has, since 6th gen, has remained the same in terms of quality and product. Every game that released in the previous generation and in this generation was just as good as, if not better, than games released in 6th gen. And let's say DLC still existed, but it added to the game. I got work in an hour, but I'm finally not sick anymore. Might do a little Tekken tonight on stream. All right, man. If you do, I'll swing by before I got to go to work. But when it comes to DLC, matter of fact, better way. Let's apply today's logic with DLC, add-ons, and stuff to the 6th generation of gaming. Let's pick a game from 6th gen. Resident Evil 4. Okay, let's say we had DLC. The game released the same way it did. All the content, all that good stuff. But DLC was an option. What type of DLC do you think would be valuable to Resident Evil 4 if it had all the stuff it already has? I'll give you one. The Hookman. The Hookman gameplay. Get to experience a part of the game that was early in development, but they inevitably scrapped the Hookman segment. If you know anything about that, that was one of the versions of Resident Evil 4 that they thought about before they scrapped it and made the one that we know about. In my opinion, that is good DLC. That is added value because it doesn't have to be canon or anything. And that's the thing with DLC. It doesn't have to maintain continuity. The goal of DLC is to enhance the value of the product, make it better or make it more worthwhile. I don't think there's a single person who enjoys Resident Evil 4 who would be opposed to that. But instead, we wait for and pay for stuff you already have in the game. And so my apples to apples here is like, would you rather have the complete game where the DLC is actually added value, like a Hookman session? Or do you prefer the way things are now? Less than the base game, but the stuff from the old game is slowly drip fed into it that you got to pay more for. You got to buy Ada and Wesker for the mercenaries so we can finally complete it. You got to buy that extra stage. Maybe they'll add new stages. Or you got to buy separate ways in assignment Ada. Given it's not like that stuff was oh my god, this is like huge DLC. I understand that, but it's content nonetheless. The movie browser. These are all things that were present in the original that are completely missing. And I don't think it's an issue of they ran out of time. You guys had 18 years to make this fucking game. So let's look at some of these comments. Most of these I already replied to, but we're just going to kind of get an idea of what their grievance is with what I'm saying. We're going to start up here. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a masterpiece. Okay. I've spent more than an hour with the original Resident Evil 4, including a full playthrough right before the release of Resident Evil 4. Okay. Mercenaries is only missing Ada and Wesker, both of which are confirmed to be coming at a later date, in addition to extra costumes like Resident Evil 5 and 6. In the meantime, we get Luis. That's a good trade-off. I just want to make sure I understand. If is that a good trade-off? No. I shouldn't have to wait. First off, because that's how you know this was intentional. They intentionally withheld content for the sole purpose of making more money off of it. Of course, if this was the only version of Resident Evil 4 that ever existed, and I never knew what Mercenaries or Assignment Ada could have been, then you'd be right. I wouldn't complain because I wouldn't have known. I'd be like, okay, cool, extra content. Problem with this logic is that despite having all that in the original game, you see how it says it. They're only missing Ada and Wesker. Okay. Man, Afro, I've been wanting to start looking into making a podcast for the Me 7-8 because I would love deep diving into game topics with you sometime. I am all for it, man. I should have been doing it for years now, but lazy. But sometimes something needs to happen to where you're just like, you know what? Do it. Just do it. So if you want to hop on game topics, I am down. I would love to. To start talking podcasts, discuss gaming, the do's, the don'ts, what could have been, what should have been, all that stuff. I am down for that. They're milking Resident Evil 4. Yes, they're milking Resident Evil 4 despite Resident Evil 4 being milked for the past 18 years. Okay, bro, here's a Discord link in case we haven't got. Send it to me on Discord or in your channel because I have links disabled in the chat. Because, a few times where I stream, some bots will come in here and spam like, yeah, get your dick sucked. I'm like, oh, nah, no. But hold on, let me hop in the Discord and send it to me on there. I'm going to remake Sonic 3, but you can't play as Tails and Knuckles. It's just Tails and Knuckles. I know. Whew, Cross. Bruh, I tell you, man. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. Hold on. Where should I catch it in your Discord there? Boy, as long as I had Discord, I shouldn't be this dumb with how to operate it. General. Yeah, meet me in General. Send me the link there. But, yeah, exactly. See, Cross, perfect example. I'm going to remake a game that had this, because it's a remake. We're basing it off this game. And like I said, the purpose of a remake, is it supposed to be better than the original, or is it just some side piece shit? Just something over here. What about Resident Evil 0 or Code Veronica? See, those are games that should have got a remake. Is this you, Solo Cat 007? Alright. Just added, just sent it to you. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Appreciate you. But yeah, those games should have got a remake. Cause remember when they announced Resident Evil 4, everybody unanimously said, "Yo, does this game really need a remake? It's already perfect." So it was a money thing. And I'm like, normally I don't mind that because, their company's got to make some money. But at what point do you just kind of pay some type of respect? They should definitely remake Code Veronica first before they jump into 5. They should have remade Code Veronica before 4, honestly. But, at this point, I'm out. Because when they first announced it, of course I had a wave of emotion because Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game, and they tug at my heartstrings and stuff, and I was thinking they're probably gonna mess it up, they're probably gonna do this, and then I was thinking, well, what if they don't do that? What if it's like the best shit ever? You know, of course they would make it awesome. This game has been ported so many times. They understand the value of Resident Evil fucking 4. Of course, they gotta, and they didn't. And that's why you gotta go with your gut. Yeah, I've been in this gaming industry too long, seeing shit go south. I should have saw it coming, but I didn't want to believe it because it's Resident Evil 4. That's it. You got me with Dead or Alive. That should have been it there, but there's always one more game. So now I got to make sure that there's nothing left. That's why That's why I want to emphasize just leaving the industry outright, building a whole new one, because you're just gonna keep getting burned over and over and over again, unless you assimilate to this new stream of modern gamer conscious, so that you can just take what they give you. God forbid they redo 6. Yeah, I don't care. They can redo whatever they want now. It doesn't matter. Separate Ways will also be coming at a later date. It's pretty much all but confirmed that elements cut from the main game, like the U3 boss fight, will be in it. Also, SW will presumably be more fleshed out than in the original, not being in the initial GameCube. Separate Ways. And again, that would be cool if it was base game. I take umbrage with it because you intentionally left it out to sell it to me. I have to buy it again. I have to buy this game 2 or 3 extra times in order to get the full, complete product that came out 18 years ago. That's not an improvement. They can make all the improvements they want. My thing is, why wasn't that already the case? Again, 18 years for this remake to happen. And y'all scratched some shit together in less than 4. Because, Resident Evil 2 Remake, 3 Remake, and 4 came out relatively in a short space. Like 5 years, I think, including Resident Evil 8. So I was like, dude, it's clear that you guys split the labor on these games. And I'm thinking, like, with how important of a game Resident Evil 4 was, y'all should have been like, all hands on deck. We only making 2 games this year. Street Fighter 6, Resident Evil 4. That's it. Especially how y'all butchered Resident Evil 3. Ugh. We ain't gonna even talk about that. Moving on. Let's see, what else here? And, the good old contrarian clicks and views. You gotta specify, dude. I don't know what that means. Talk to me like I'm 5. Because I don't consider that a contrarian opinion. Okay, it's not a part of the mass opinion, because everybody just loves this game because it's new and pretty. But you got to be specific if you're going to criticize my takes. Because otherwise, I don't know what you're talking about. And, some of these comments, people do agree. It's like, yeah, it sucks that it's so well made. The game was good. Like this one. It sucks that this is such a well-made video with a shit take. I was like, you got to specify, man. What part of the take is shitty? For instance, to heavily expand on the core mechanics of the game, fixing one of the horribly aged details for not being able to scope down and walk at the same time. And this guy's, I feel like he misunderstood my video, because what he's talking about is gameplay mechanics. And I'm like, dude, I ain't got a problem with gameplay mechanics. I have not once said at any point in this video that I don't like the fact that Leon can walk and shoot. If anything, it's a blessing. Thank you. I should have been able to do that years ago. Whatever. We couldn't do it in 5 either. So it's nice that they found a way to have Leon be able to move in different directions and shoot simultaneously. I think they went a little too far with the whole realistic aiming and shit, whatever. But that's great. Leon feels great. The knife feels great. Great. Nothing to do with what I said. He's mad at and not listening. And that seems to be the case for a lot of these guys, because it's like I know that if we sat down and talked about it, and this is the thing that gets me, dude. I'm not wrong. I am not incorrect. A lot of these guys who disagree with me agree that part of the stuff that I'm complaining about is legitimate because they also don't like it. But they don't like that I don't like the game. It's like, well, dude, what does that even mean? That's why these dislikes up here don't bother me. Because these are people who are just stone cold, like they're so invested in the game's success that they don't care. is how you said it. I don't like your tone. It's like, tone has nothing to do with it, man. I said the game was good. The game is good. It's just not good enough. that's all I'm saying. And if all the changes that I wanted were implemented into the game, would the game be better or worse? Like, boo! So like, it's really hard for me to not be an asshole about this stuff, because it's like, you guys, you're giving me heat because the game is lacking. You know it's lacking. This guy, right, the first guy, he knows it's lacking, and he's just like, but you know, that's fine. It's just Ada and Wesker. You say that like they're side characters or NPC characters that don't even have anything to do with anything. It's like, okay, I know I don't get to play with Wesker in the story. Dude sits in a chair for the entirety of the game. But at the very least, can I experience it, what it's like to be Wesker? Because in Code Veronica, dude was cold as fuck. I was like, dang, you know, and this is, you know, back in the day where every new Resident Evil game was like a new part of the story we didn't understand. If you played the first game, you saw Wesker get stabbed in the gut by the tyrant. You're like, he's dead. And then he shows up again in Code Veronica. You're like, whoa, huh? I thought you were dead. And he's like, nah, bro, I got superpowers now. Beat the dog shit out of Chris. So you're like, so of course, back then, you're thinking to yourself like, yo, I don't know what the hell happened. Wesker got completely impaled in the chest, and now he's up here in Code Veronica flipping off the walls and, you know, ragdolling the hell out of Chris. I gotta know what happened. And so you gotta wait for Resident Evil 4 to come out. And of course, it has nothing to do with Chris and Wesker. So you're like, so initially you're like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, Leon's cool, and you had a lot of fun with it. He over kicking folks, suplexing folks. He's a freaking rock star, invincible God mode Leon, and you're just like, cool. And so you beat the game like, ah, what a good game. Mercenaries, what's that? And then you start seeing characters get unlocked. You play through it with Leon, you unlock Krauser. Play through it with Krauser, you unlock Hunk. Play through it with Hunk, you unlock Ada. And then there's one more character. You're like, Wesker? Oh shit! I get to play with Wesker, because he was in the story. And so the whole time you're playing the base story of the campaign, and you see Wesker over there in his chair, like, yeah, we're gonna do this shit over here. Hold on, this train. All right. So the whole time you playing the game, you see Wesker over here in the chair, just looking cool as fuck, and the whole time you over there see them like, I want to see what happened to Wesker. How's he still alive? How he doing this stuff? And then they finally give you Wesker. Here, have fun. Play with this badass that you don't know nothing about. Okay, you've gotten adjusted to the game. You know what to expect. Every time you shoot an enemy in the leg or the head, there's a attack you get to perform. Let's do it with Wesker. Axe kick, Yujiro axe kick from Baki. Heads explode. You're like, what? Thrust punch, sending folks across the map. This dude is cold. But in this game, you gotta wait for that shit. You don't deserve that. You gotta pay me a premium. Man, Billy Donuts. While I enjoyed the remake, I prefer the original. Yeah, exactly. As do I. I'm done with the remake. There's nothing. Even with the release of Ada or whatever, I just watch that shit on YouTube. There's no reason for me to. I'm not about to pay for this game 4 times just to get the same game I had 18 years ago. That I'm not. You know, if you want to do that, fine. That's cool. That's modern gaming. That's just the way it is. Some people are gonna want to see it, but we've gotten to a point to where nickel and diming elements of the base game is how gaming is now. And with some of these comments. And then, you know, you get plenty of upvotes off this stuff too. This is the way gaming is now. And that's why I have no issue saying like, okay, we need to start over. We're going to start over, build our own shit, and go over here. Because you guys have lost it. You have lost the plot. 10 years ago, you guys would have been complaining about this. But because, you've been in the water for so long, it's normal to you now. You either been in the water too long or you just showed up. You have no concept of what owning a game is like anymore. I mean, I love paying for Final Fantasy 7R. Remake 4. Capcom killed the replay value with that. Yeah. Because, again, remember, the original Resident Evil 4 GOAT status for 18 years. And I bet you, it's going to outlast this game. Because of how they sell the game. And the thing is, they could have easily made this game the Resident Evil 4 experience, the definitive Resident Evil 4. But because we're in modern gaming times, you don't deserve any game complete from the jump. You gotta buy a piece of it now and pay me over time. So that by the time you get to the end of it, 14 other games you gotta pay for overtime when it came out. And who cares? You know, and that's... I don't blame modern gamers because a lot of them are just young. The people I do blame are the people my age because they should know. Because it's like, dude, if you're 30 plus, you know how it was. We was eating good in 6th gen. We were eating good in 5th gen. We were eating good in 4th gen. We were just like, bruh, there's so much food here. I can't even fit it all. There were games that I wanted that I couldn't play until I become a man. But now, these games are so... And that's another thing somebody on here said. He was talking about, well, games are hard to make nowadays. I disagree. Nope. Technology has carried us so far. Making games is hard. But making a game like this with the amount of resources that Capcom has, nope. You're making a remake. You're not making a new game from the ground up. It was hard to make Resident Evil 4, the original. Remaking Resident Evil 4, nope. The game's already done. You don't have to write anything. You don't have to write anything substantial in the script. You're literally copy pasta. The hardest thing they had to do in that game was make Leon play a certain way. That's the hardest thing they had to do. They had all the areas, they had all the maps, they had all the content. They had so much stuff, they were like, yeah, we could just cut the shit out. Put it in later. Sakurai was just talking about how when he made the first Kirby game and how it was crazy to do because of all the limitations. And that is the key right there, limitations. Limitations are hardware. Limitation breeds creativity. There are no limits now. Everything is like super duper high file size and shit. We got games that are crossing hundreds of gigabytes. Hundreds of gigabytes. Adapting the gameplay was definitely the hardest part for the modern audience. Yeah, I'll give them that. Here's the video if you want to watch. Send it to me on Discord. I have links disabled in chat. But yeah, because I'm like, really don't. Games are easier to make than they were in the 1980s, early 2000s, for sure. Yeah, then they were. Yeah, exactly. Because back then there was no Unreal Engine that 90% of the industry used to make their shit. You know, Unreal was barely an engine for the one game they had, Unreal Tournament. Everything else was like, hey, you guys are just gonna have to figure this shit out and make it run on this hardware. And there was a engine that was used for most of the PlayStation 2 games, and I think Xbox games. I can't remember it. It was a great engine before EA bought it and killed it. I forgot the name of it though. But yeah, dude, it's like this whole argument. Games are hard to make now. I'm throwing that shit in the garbage. It can't be okay. I don't know how to make video games. I want to learn. I don't know how to make video games, but I've been playing video games long enough to kind of understand that there is a process, and with how accessible resources are to just the average person. Like, I don't know how to make video games, but if I just sit down and hunt for like a day or a week, I can make a game. Just me. Whereas 30 years ago, that shit was not happening, bro. Especially 40 years ago. Like, no way in hell that was happening. You had to be a techno wizard, and you had to be a part of a company that had the means and resources to help you get this little piece of shit hardware that you had to figure out how to write code on. Some binary or some shit. We got stuff nowadays where you can just drag and drop shit and then the game works. So like, no, the gaming is the only thing difficult is what the what the industry claims. Because, you know, I don't know, you had to be a god to make games back then. Yep. Indie games were extremely rare back in the day. Exactly. This stuff was difficult on a level we'll never understand because of how easy things have become. Which, of course, leads to some of the problems we have. But, yeah, dude, like, nah. Yeah, if I wanted to, I could really buckle down and make a game in a week. Probably sooner than that. That's how easy it is. That's why the indie scene is so prevalent now. And when I say stuff like I want to make a whole separate industry, it would only have to be through the indie scene. The indie scene is where the true future of gaming lies, because this whole AAA shit, it ain't going. It's not going to work. It's not going to be able to sustain itself. But I hope it sustains itself long enough to keep certain people out of the indie scene. Because when I refer to normies, these are the guys I'm talking about. Normie. It don't take much to impress him. It takes very little, actually. To the point to where he'll be like, it's okay for them to remove stuff and resell it back to me for a higher price. I don't mind spending $120 overall to get what is available on the market now for $20. Because that was the standard back in the day. Standards for 2023 drastically lower despite how much higher technology and stuff has advanced. Very unfortunate. Inflation. So yeah, dude, like, hey, look, if you like that stuff, go crazy. But it's like I don't think it's sustainable. It's not sustainable. Because like all the stuff, all these costs that they refer to is just the shit that they put on these engines to make games look pretty. Jiggle physics, real-time rendering, ray tracing, photorealistic bullshit. Bullshit. My Afro lover the stream, deep discussion. I gotta get ready for work, but I'll be leaving you on for the pets. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. But yeah, that's where the money's going. And you wonder why so many greats in the industry have switched around. The industry has become so corporatized. A lot of names that are associated with very successful projects, Crossnose, Casey Hudson, I think that was one of them. Ain't that the Mass Effect guy? One of the guys, I don't remember his name, but I think, what game was he on? What game was he on that he left? Marvelous something? It was some Marvelous game, but you've seen several stories over the years of prolific directors leaving companies because of how stressful they were to work under. The director of Yakuza, he was just like, yeah, you guys are making this shit a pain in the ass to do. I'm going to go and make my own studio. Yeah, the guy who made Siren Kagura. Yes! So it's like, it'd be... Yeah, exactly. So, like, the fact that these are happening to well-renowned directors in the gaming industry shows how much the industry has become a corporatized, suit-infested shithole where everything just costs money. Like, don't get me wrong, the RE engine looks beautiful. So, like, games don't have to look photorealistic. And I think those are one of the things that we just couldn't really see coming as the industry was growing, because we were legitimately too impressed back then. When we saw the graphics from 6th gen to 7th gen, that's when they knew they had us. It was like, as long as these games look good, they'll buy it. And it wasn't until 8th gen where people were like, okay, hold on a minute. This game looks good, but there's hardly a game here to play. The Order 1886. Why is this game like 4 hours long? Okay, granted, it looks beautiful. I like how the clothes sway when I move and the hair flips when I move and the water drips and I can look at stuff in great detail real close. But where's the game? There is no game. It's a movie. And, here we go, getting into the other part of it. the moviefication of video games. Like 2 hours long, one boss fight. Yeah, and then there's Sony. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about the new God of War. I don't like it. I tried. I tried it, and I felt like I was wasting my time. I was like, I'm better off watching this on YouTube, man. You know, because I'm like, am I just too lazy? It's like, man, you know, God of War was fun back in the 6th gen. With God of War 1 and 2. But when it got to this one, it's just like, man, these cutscenes are unskippable and they're so fucking long. Don't get me wrong, I love being engrossed in the story, but when your cutscene is just like a thing where the camera just zooms off of your character while you're walking, it's just like, man, okay, I see where you're going. I had to give the industry credit though. Thanks to the $70 games, waiting for the price drops is so much easier. Yeah, you got that right. Made by people who don't play video games. Yeah, these people make movies, not video games. And unfortunately, those are one of the things that most gamers, you know, we couldn't fathom that because everything was interesting, everything was new to us. Sakurai talked about how it's important as a game dev to continue playing video games for new ideas and to keep your fire stoked. Yeah, you can't do that now. Not in the AAA market, because so many of these games play the same. They're very samey. So, and he said it had to take a break from one of his projects because they had him working too hard. Yeah, Sakurai's a machine, man. I think he worked too hard. Like, from what I've been reading, I'm like, this dude is really slaving over this Smash Brothers shit. And he don't deserve that. But, you know, the Japanese mentality for work is just a whole different level, man. But I hope it paid off for him. I hope he got everything he deserved, carrying Nintendo for as long as he has, with all his shit, Kirby, Smash Brothers, and all that. He deserved it. And then all the Westerners hate him. I don't think he cares. Oh, no roll back. Dude, like, and that's the thing, man. Games have to be games first and foremost. Gameplay, gaming experiences, not movies. Not something where you spend just as much time sitting and staring as you do playing the controller, or God forbid the game damn near plays itself. Sakurai carried the Wii U. Yep, Smash 4. Oh, man, like, yeah, you know, whatever they pay him, it ain't enough. But we're going to switch to some RE4 over here. You know, the real game. Let's see. Yeah, so, like, because to me, when it comes to... And I hate that this is the case for the most. Okay, Boomer. Yeah, man, Boomer Josh. Hey, I feel bad that most gamers now don't get to experience gaming the same way I did. But instead of just, you know, complaining about it, I think it'd be better to just actually do something. You know, I want to make it my mission to cultivate the environment necessary for a new industry to rise up and stay focused on the goal of gaming. And I don't know if that means we have to make a Bill of Rights or whatever, a declaration, but it has to happen. Because at this rate, because I look at it this way, Resident Evil 4 2005, what would Resident Evil 4 be like if it came out now? It'd be like the remake. Missing shit, and you gotta pay later to get it. And no thanks, bro. That's all I gotta say. But no, dude, get out of here. Soulless Mage, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. We're doing the smoke show. And Nerf to women? Oh yeah, dude. Women. Can't be relatable in 2023. We gotta adjust it for modern audiences. And Chevy will look terrible. Yep. But I'm glad that the DMC game are never remade, only released. Yeah, and I thought that was funny how Devil May Cry 4 got DLC like 8 years later. So it's funny because it seems like Capcom is like, I don't know. It's like they're two different companies sometimes. Sometimes they're Japanese and then sometimes they're Western. And I hate it when they become Western. And it seems to be any game that has huge mainstream appeal, which unfortunately is Resident Evil. They got all these movies and Netflix shows and all that bullshit, so it was only a matter of time, I guess. Yep, depends on how big it is. So, when it comes to, Devil May Cry, I hope they stay niche. Because they almost had it. That DMC Devil May Cry by that Western developer, Ninja Theory. That trash game that nobody liked and people pretended to like years later. I was like, nah, dude. That game would have been fine if it was just its own thing on the side. But they tried to take something that wasn't theirs and appropriate it into something it's not. Let's do a little Mercenaries. The complete Mercenaries, mind you. Man, I think I'll play with Western. Oh, man. I'm going to do a little bit over here, because I like the hand cannon. I'm going to make another video where it's like, I say like, modern gamers don't deserve a complete game. Maybe that's what it is. Like, yeah, you guys don't deserve a complete game. Man, cold. You ain't get none of this shit. Y'all gotta wait for this shit. Boom. Man, cold. Bruh. They get what they fucking deserve. Like, but yeah, that's in a nutshell. Hello, miss. Song's so cold. Go ahead and camp up here for a little bit. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on in. Depending on where you look, this exact game is still available for $15 or less. Yeah. Why wait for DLC when you could just play it? People are weirdly emotional about the remake when someone says one thing about it they don't like. Well, it's just the way the industry has become. It's unfortunate. That's why it's like, it's no longer about love this pop sound stuff. probably would have killed me if I had ran any closer.
That's awesome.
Not bad at all. Still got a high score up. But I'm kind of cheap. He can do whatever he wants. Kill whoever he wants to. Yeah, man. Y'all enjoy that incomplete ass mercenaries you got. Dumb, bro. Dumb. Stupid. I really don't. I'm gonna do a few more of these, and I'll probably hop off for a little bit and hop back on. Oh, there he is. I think That dude dangerous. He dangerous as hell. forgot about him. That's gonna hurt. 5 stars. Oh, the irony. And then Wesker got more points on that stage. Oh boy. But yeah, folks. That is today's smoke show. Resident Evil 4 remake. Good. Just not good enough. Don't at me. I'll probably have to play it. I gotta play through matter of fact, do start separate ways. Hey, y'all got the early access version. Oh my goodness.
The only reason I've taken on this mission is to get closer to my own objective. No matter what happens, I can't let anyone figure that out. Of course, hiding in the shadows isn't my style.
Free for taking in about
I'll have
10.
to reveal myself to him and
I'll
offer
probably hop off
advice
stream though. Gotta
once
give me
in a
something to eat. I'm
while.
kind of hungry. Yeah, I'm down. This man got money.
No vamos. ¡Ah, qué madre!
Te cogí.
Oh.
So I see you've managed to arrive at the village on time.
Yes, but nobody remembered to roll out my red carpet.
The villagers there are all being controlled. They automatically attack any intruders. Ring the church bell. That should quiet them down for a while.
Sounds like they're good, obedient boys and girls.
Unfortunately, time is not a luxury we have. Gather as much information as you can about the parasites and finish off this little tour.
Leon. Ring the church bell. That's so cool. Over here, survive. Follow me.
Pero no puede resistir. ¡Detrás de ti! ¡Vete!
Secret agent, no armor of any kind. Yeah, man. You gotta maintain that sex appeal.
¡Bloqueale el paso!
Chainsaw? Gosh, yeah, that pump action shot.
¡No dejes que se escape!
No, no, hey, man, that's not bad. I think if you take too long, I wonder if it does that. If you take too long to Leon die. Like, hear him get his ass beat.
Detrás de ti, imbécil.
¡Imbécil!
Te voy a matar.
Puedes correr, pero no puedes esconder.
Oh. Hello.
Welcome. Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
I don't have my blue torches set up.
What are you buying?
Rifle, first aid.
What are you selling? Is that all? Thank you. Come back anytime.
That's all for now. Ow. I forgot about him. Alright, I'm gonna save it here. Alright, y'all, that'll probably do it for the stream for right now. I might hop back on it later tonight. Got a few errands to run and I'm hungry, so once I get me something to eat, I'm gonna come back, play some games with old Libra there. Probably off stream. And we can get back into it. Oh, yeah. Grab some more shit. Slap the shit out of him. Matter of fact, last y'all. Press the button. gotta find something to put in there. But I'll do that when I get back.
Ahí está.
Save the game. Language that is, but thanks for watching. That's not spam.
Te voy a matar.
Upside down.
Oh, la campana.
Es hora de rezar. Tenemos que irnos.
Lord Sattler.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
He said the thing. Separate ways. Got early access, guys. Don't ask me how I got it or how I did it.
Here's what I know so far. Osmond Saddler's cult is known as Los Illuminados. They've resurrected some sort of parasitic organism they call Las Plagas. That's all my organization knows for sure, though Saddler's occult activities seem worthy of investigation. The Salazar family, Castellans for generations, possessed the ability to control Las Plagas. The organization's hypothesis is that a unique frequency of sonic wave, sensed only by the parasites, is used to control them. The same principle used in dog whistles. This was inferred through the analysis of a tissue sample we retrieved. The tissue contained an organ presumably used for sensing sound waves. I've seen cult members carrying ceremonial rods, and I wonder if they emit these sounds. Of course, this is purely theoretical. The organization needs samples of the parasite to confirm or disprove these theories. That is the main objective of my mission, and the only way to prove my loyalty to the organization. The opening moves in this chess game have been played. There's no turning back now.
Alright, that'll wrap it up for today's stream, y'all. Or for now, I might stream a little bit later tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the smoke show for what it was. As I said, reference the video that I posted on my YouTube. I am open to any and all criticism of whatever criticism I had of Resident Evil 4 Remake, but as it stands, the original is still reigns supreme as the better game. But folks, thank you all for joining. Thanks for watching. I am your Immortal Afro Josh. You are watching Immortal Afro Gaming, where we will make gaming niche once again. Have a good one.